Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm trying to go live. Now we're live. Now we're live. I'm here with Carlos Moreno, and we're going to speak about men's work and the sacred masculine today. And I'm super excited about this topic. We have been speaking a little bit behind the scenes about this, and for me, it's so interesting where you come from, like your background and what you were telling me, like what you were supposed to do in this lifetime, and how it kind of shifted, or maybe it didn't shift so much. It's just coming in a different way that you're doing what you do. So, would you mind to share with us a little bit about your background and what led you to what we today say is the work that you're doing?
Hello, family. Hello, tribe. How are you? It is a big honor. Thank you so much, Bella, for this invitation to share what is my passion, what is in my heart, my service. I feel very honored. It's been 6 years working with men's circles and the sacred masculine, and well, my background. Um, I always I always felt this call for the sacred, for transcendence. Even when I was a little kid, I felt the call to be a priest. I come from a very Catholic family, so I entered the minor seminary, and I was there studying to become a priest for 11 years. I was a religious monk with vows of poverty, chastity, obedience, and I devoted that part of my life, 1/3 of my life, to that call. Um, so when I went out, I was out of a greenhouse, very protected, in a very good environment, preparing myself to be another Christ, and then I found out what reality was, or another aspect of reality, and I passed for some years of a lot of confusion. So from being in front of the altar, praying to the Virgin Mary, and becoming a little saint, priest, I went to the dark side. So
Mhm.
I dived full into the dark side, so to speak. I mean the other part of uh, a very unhealthy sexuality, and a lot of promiscuity and drugs, and all what you can imagine of that part.
And how old were
So
you? How old were you
seven
when you?
years ago, I was 24 when I went out of the seminary,
Mhm, mhm.
and when I started this shift, uh, when my consciousness started awakening, it was 8 years ago, when I had a beautiful ceremony with a medicinal plant from the Amazonas, the ayahuasca, the mother ayahuasca, and that really started my awakening. It was very, very powerful, and I started realizing a lot of things, and a lot of things I wanted to do in my life, a lot of things I needed to change, and one of them was to work on my sexuality
Mhm.
and to be really conscious about it.
And how did you know
So
that you needed to work
the
on it?
work with
Like, what made you feel like there was something that you needed to do? Because, I mean, there are so many different expressions of sexuality, and many people out there might have an unhealthy sexuality. But what made you understand that that was the point, that was important to work on that?
because it is an integral part of what we are. Sex is everywhere. Nature is so sexual. Uh,
Mhm.
I didn't want to suppress my sexuality. I just wanted to find a way to really live it consciously and fully. So
Yeah.
I encountered this beautiful tribe, this collective, with a lot of amazing beings. My collective is called Nos Amo. In English would be We Love Ourselves. And the girls from my tribe were really doing the inner work, were getting together in women's circles, were mm, healing all the different aspects of their lives. And I didn't really see men doing the work. I mean, it
Mhm.
was when they told me, "Why don't you start doing men's circles?" And I, what am I going to do?
He left. Let's see if he comes back. So I'm speaking with Carlos about men's work and men's circles, and he's just been telling me about he was studying to become a priest. And then when he was 24, he got out of that. I think it was in Italy with the Vatican. And he basically just started to realize what the real world is and starting to discover sexuality, but not in a positive way, but in a quite dark way. And then he realized that sexuality is everywhere and that he actually needed to to work on that, to heal that. And he found a tribe. He did an ayahuasca ceremony. He realized things from that, and he joined the tribe where the women in the tribe were already doing. Let's see. He's here, but his device is not connected. Maybe now. So the women in there you are. I'm just doing a recap of what you said. Volviste! Yay!
We are back.
Perfect.
Can you listen to me now?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I started doing the men's circles with my group of friends, and that became a beautiful journey. Now I am just an observer of amazing human beings, and I have learned so much.
We can hear you
It's been a
still.
process of really understanding our nature,
Hmm.
understanding our call, understanding our service, and and I've met some amazing friends in the journey. And yeah, that has been kind of my journey to start giving men's circles.
Hmm. Thank you. So I think there are many people in Tantra Connection that are just starting to discover Tantra, conscious sexuality, even might not know what the women's circle is. So would you explain to us a little bit, like in practical terms, what is a men's circle, and is that the same thing as men's work, or is that a part of what men's work can be? Can you explain a little bit to us so we understand for somebody who doesn't know anything about this?
Well, first of all, it is not something that comes from certified yoga training, no, or mindfulness, or it's just a circle of human beings that are men. So every male has its own essence according to the men that are gathered in that circle. There are some things that that are very useful as tools in order to create them,
Hmm.
and I really encourage anyone to start doing them, because what happens, I realized that uh, before all this awakening in myself happened, I would get in touch with my male friends, as any normal guy, every Thursday night to see football, drink some beers, and speak about just the same things. Sometimes about women in not the best ways, you know, and we didn't really uh, go deep in a relationship. I mean, they were my friends. We would gather, play some poker or some stuff, but it was nothing much. So I told my friends, hey, why don't we get together and start talking about different subjects, start doing different stuff, going hiking with a purpose, you know. So we started planning these activities with a more conscious way.
Hmm.
And so men's circles are basically every 15 days, twice a month. uh, and we get in circle. That's one of the main things, and it is important because it's not that someone is there in the corner and someone is, you know, it is full presence. You are seated in a circle to be with your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First thing that I have very on my heart in the circles is the presence.
Mm-hmm.
So to be really seen, we as men, we have this pattern, this old pattern of competition. So we are always judging ourselves, comparing ourselves, and analyzing if what he said is correct or incorrect, or So when we get in circle and we just listen with no judgment, we just have the opportunity to see another man and to be seen by other men.
Mm-hmm.
It is very healing because it opens up to the sacred vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and for me, that is a gift to be able to open your heart, to be able to say, this is what I am, and to receive support, compassion, and friendship from other fellow men. It is such a beautiful gift that makes thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So the men's circles are moments when we gather as friends, as humans, in order to work on ourselves and to gather to sing sometimes. Um, I I prefer to have a fire in the center. For me, fire is that energy that transforms everything, that gives really a very powerful center, and it's the power of the heart, it's the power of transformation. So we go there with a very very clear purpose of transforming ourselves from the interior,
Mm-hmm.
healing ourselves in our relationships, so that with a healed heart, with a more centered heart, we can commit to our relationships, we can relate to others, not from the wound of our past, but from the presence. And it's a beautiful work. Now, for because of the quarantine, we have been working more online, and this shift to do the men's circles online has been great because we have been able to connect with men all around the world, um, and to talk and to continue growing and working on ourselves in different ways that are so beautiful. And one of the things that I was telling Bella before is that because of the quarantine, I have connected to men's circles in Portugal, in London, in California, in Brazil, and it's amazing what's happening now. I am so grateful. I am My heart is exploding of gratitude because what 6 years ago was something that nobody was doing, now I am seeing many men not just doing the work but sharing it and
Mm-hmm.
opening the circles and gathering and really wanting to transform themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And here I want to honor all the women because they have the guts to start the work. They have the courage to start uniting in circle with women in women's circles, and to start really going deep into this process of healing. And yeah, that's an amazing thing that is happening now. And the most amazing thing is that we do not we are not in touch, although I am connected to different men's circles, and it's incredible how we are talking about the same stuff in the same week.
Mm-hmm.
So it speaks about a collectiveness, it speaks about an energy, it speaks about a vibration that needs to be addressed, that needs to be worked on. So it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So you're speaking about the heart opening. You're speaking about being able to relate not from the wound, but from the heart. So could you tell us a little bit what are some of the tools? Maybe I know that maybe music, maybe medicine, or what are the topics? Like how do you, if people want to even create those circles by themselves, can are there some guidelines or some advice that you can give to create that kind of container that is safe and that where work can be done? And what is the work? Like go a little bit more into what is the transformation that can happen inside a circle.
Um, a normal circle starts with a prayer. We usually start breathing, trying to be really grounded and present, and we start with a check-in. In order to be in the circles, there are some rules that need to be followed in order for the circles to flow harmoniously.
Mm-hmm.
One of these rules are the four agreements of the Tolteca wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
These four agreements are very simple, but they they give the grounding for the circles to develop. The first agreement is to honor your word. So whatever you say, speak from your truth, honor it. And related to that is that everything that you share in the circle, you don't say we think, we believe. No, no. It's you think, I think, I believe. You know? It is from my experience, so I own my word. You know. The second agreement is do not make suppositions. Do not presume. You know? If you do not know something, just ask,
Mm-hmm.
and that is very important. Um, the third part is uh, do not take anything personal. It has nothing to do with you. And the fourth one is that in everything that you do your best. Give your 100%. So that's kind of the grounding. Of course, the circles, part of the sacredness of the circles is that whatever happens in the circle, you have to be very respectful about what happens in the circle, because those are very are moments when people open up in a very safe space container to heal wounds that sometimes are very very hurtful. And for that, I have to do the work on my feminine side to be that mother, to be that space holder, to be that womb in order to heal very deep wounds. And compassion arises, and you know that state of Mother Earth in ourselves arises. For me, uh, working with men in general in the men's circles, one of the things that really ground us is nature, is connecting to the elements, and those are the things that really help a circle to develop in a very healthy manner.
Mm.
And besides that, it is not a circle just to speak, you know, just from the mind. It
Mm-hmm.
is a circle to open possibilities. So sometimes men they want to heal, but they just do not know how.
Right.
So and also women, but regarding the men's circles, they want to transform something in themselves, but they do not know how. So they are not going to transform something just speaking about it, but really doing practices that help them develop whatever they want to transform. So the circles, what I do, I try to be very open to the energy of the moment that is generated by the needs of the men that are in that specific circle, but also speak about different subjects. Um, in one's last men's circle last Monday, we spoke about the shadow work. In another one, we spoke about coherence. In another one, we speak about sacred sexuality. That is kind of the one of the main topics to heal really sexuality.
Speak more about that, because that's kind of what Tantra Connection is about. And I was asking you before, how did you even know that you needed to work on your sexuality? Because what I see very much out there, especially now working with kind of mainstream as well, it's like many times we don't know there is a problem. We don't even know many times there is a problem with pornography. We think, yeah, maybe it's not the best thing, but we don't know there is a problem. So how to feel into the importance of this, and could you speak a little bit about or to that importance of why is it so important in your opinion, or in your how you feel about it?
Most of the circles that I do now, um, it is for men that have already done a lot of inner work, you know, and so the circles they go very deep.
Mm,
And when I invite people that are starting to know about all this holistic way of living or more conscious way of living, there are a lot of shadows that need to be addressed. Um, First of all, uh, it, we learned through imitation. We see something we like and we learn from that. So the first thing is to be really coherent, not just the facilitators, but all the men that arrive. Uh, be coherent and be committed to be authentic, because the circles are not for men that are perfect or that are
mhm,
enlightened.
mhm, mhm,
You know, the circles are for men, just that men that wanna live fully their lives, and that want to heal all the old patterns that do not correspond to the energy that is evolving right now. Because
so would you no go on,
even if
sorry.
you have never taken any medicinal plant or doing yoga, or there is this shift of consciousness that everybody is feeling.
Hmm, hmm,
There is this feeling of transcendence that, come on, there has to be something else. I mean, life is not just about the same stuff that does not fulfill me. You know, doing going to do my job, going back and see TV, and then waking up the next morning to do the same routine. There needs to be something else. So it's amazing how many men are arriving to the circles and opening the possibilities and expansion of their lives, working in their masculinity.
hmm,
So, for example, it's beautiful to share how to do medicinal plants or how to work with medicinal plants, how to heal ourselves, how to work out in healthier ways. Uh, a lot of martial arts are shared, a lot of different healing techniques, energy techniques of of movement, dancing, expression of emotions. It is so important to for men to really have a space to express and let their emotions flow.
hmm,
You know, and boys will always be boys, so we love to play. We love to play. And yeah, in the circles we always do dynamics that are more body work, and then in order to have that sense of community, of tribe, of pack, the wolf
hmm,
pack. We love that, and it is so nurturing for us, for me, for my heart, to have this band of brothers that I can lean on, that I can just be myself without pretending to be, or without being in the setting of competition,
right.
or on the fear, because that's what I have noticed a lot. in the men that arrive for the first time, the fear of saying something wrong,
Right. Mm-hmm.
or the fear of uh, a lot of men are always analyzing whatever you say to 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 s- to to see if it is correct or incorrect according
Mm-hmm.
to their own set of beliefs. So in the circles we open to the possibility that maybe I do not have the full truth, and whatever that brother is saying is his truth, but I am also open to receive whatever I can take to myself, and that can be useful or helpful in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
So those circles are really such a joy. Such for me, I love them. I love them, and I want to share them more.
And what do you feel are the like maybe three qualities that you have that makes it possible for you to hold space in those circles? Like what are the most important qualities that you feel like you have integrated in yourself in order to be able to do those circles and hold space in the way that you do?
Hmm. I don't. Well, I guess you're related to these alpha and omega polarities. Um, for the people that are listening, the alpha is the more masculine energy that is capable of having stability, of holding the space, of having direction, logic. And the omega is the more feminine side, is the one that let emotions flow, that allows um, the change of life to happen, that is also beautiful. So I have learned, and I am still learning to be that space holder. And for me, it's the combination of both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Combination of both. Uh, Somehow I have to be the alpha or when I am facilitating the space. But I do not like to be kind of the leader or the only man that's going to teach you how to be a man. No, no, no. In the circle, there are no, it is a circle. So
Mm-hmm.
it is not hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So all the men have the same voice, all the men have the same responsibility and commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started doing the circles, one of the things that I struggled with is that my energy was very powerful, and whenever I was present, the circles were going well, and then people were responding. But whenever I had to go to somewhere else or move to another place, they stopped getting together,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized maybe I am making them a little bit about myself, and that's not the point. The
Mm-hmm.
point is that my brothers understand that it is not Carlos that's gonna make the circle. It's not it is something that I want to do because I have realized that it's important and good for me. And so what I do now is that every week, especially now during the quarantine, each one of the members of the circle are the space holder facilitators of that circle, and and he has all the freedom to develop the circle any way he wants and speak about a proposed subject that he wants to speak about and open up the space for the circle to just flow. And I am just there holding the space with my energy, participating because I am also learning, and I feel I will not ever be an apprentice of life. And for me, that has given me really the space to create and to learn continuously,
Mm-hmm.
continuously. That is one of the qualities that facilitator um, needs to work on to really commit to his work and be present, be real present, have compassion. Compassion is key because you do not go to the circle to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
People are smart, they are intelligent, and they know uh, what their shadows are.
Mm-hmm.
All what you can do is be very honest, authentic, and compassionate in order for people to open up.
Hmm.
And when they do so, then they can start working on whatever they want to work. And yeah, authenticity and compassion for me are keys.
Hmm. So I'm curious about you're speaking about the path of coherence, and I would like to hear about what that is for you.
If I listen to someone that tells me, I am coherent, it's like, sure, that is your truth. But I don't really buy it because it is a path. If someone tells me I am walking the path of coherence, then I say, oh, okay, okay, because that path of coherence is it has a lot of incoherences. How can you know the light if there is no darkness? So coherence for me is key because it shows up that in the end we are human beings experiencing this path, this brief path through time, and that we came here not to be perfect but to be human.
Hmm.
And it's okay to fall. It's okay. The good thing is that we have the possibility to keep walking. For me also this is the path of tantra. Tantra is coherence, and coherence is alignment with what you say, what you feel, what you do. Is that expression of yourself in what you wear, in what in your atmosphere, your home, is aligned with your being. And coherence for me is very important because coherence is not something that is a box you're stuck in.
Hmm.
You know, coherence is something that evolves continuously according to your truth, and your truth can change. My set of belief when I was a religious monk was very different to the one that I have now. And when I was a little monk, I was coherent with my path.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't be coherent to that path right now
Hmm.
because I am trying to be coherent with the truth that I am learning now, that I am expressing now through my being.
Hmm.
So coherence has that that thing that evolves.
Yeah, it sounds a
That
lot
grows
of.
with you.
It sounds to me a lot like integrity because truth evolves too, and then to always walk in integrity and be aligned with your truth. So what about so is this a so this is a human path, I guess it's not just for men, it's something that any human can walk, right? Or does it look different for a man and for a woman to walk in coherence?
It is exactly the same, and I get that question a lot. Like, it is the same. I mean, uh, for and I go back to the alpha and omega. Um, Coherence for a woman will be to embody that flow of life,
Hmm.
that openness to change, that vulnerability, and also the setting of good boundaries, expressing their emotions and what they want in a safe way and in a loving way. And coherence for men, in the more masculine energy, will be to be logical, to be focus centered, to be determinado. How do you say that?
Determined.
Determined, and to be clear in his thoughts. Shakti is the flow of life. Shakti is compassion. Shiva is consciousness. So, if we want to be coherent with our energies, we have to work on first know what our energies are. Not from a book that we read, but from really going inside and feeding ourselves, because there can be women, and this I want to point out, that have a very masculine energy, and that's okay. They have to be coherent with that expression of themselves. And there are men that not precisely need to be gay in order to have a very feminine energy,
Hmm.
you know, and they need to be coherent with that, embody it. Because if not, we are going to start comparing ourselves. Oh, maybe I'm not that coherent because I am not as the lady I want to be. No, 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 no. It's about being yourself, realizing that there are these two energies that we embody. And as we were speaking before this, there needs to be a balance, and really to have integral women and men, we have to embody both energies. Men, they need to get in touch with their feminine side, and women, they need to be in touch with their sacred masculine side. In Spanish, we say that we hope you find half of your orange, la media naranja, meaning that you want to find your ideal partner. And I don't believe that. I don't believe in half oranges. I believe in full oranges. I believe in full people that they just get together because of vibration, because of alignment.
I mean, that goes back so much to what you were saying with the synchronicities with the other men's circle. It's that when you are holding yourself, what you can attract is an integral energy. So it's really what I can see. What's shifting to when we speak maybe about twin flames. Before, twin flames came together to heal some kind of wounding, but now so much when we come into our sovereignty or our solar truth, that's actually what we attract. And then it's more like creating that multidimensionality together instead of healing the wounds, because we have taken responsibility for that on our own. So the potential for relationships now is so much higher and it's so much more exciting.
Divine is divine, sister.
Mm-hmm.
When I was one of the places that I live in, half of the year is in the Caribbean, in the Mexican Caribbean, and there is a very powerful movement of men and women circles. And I have some female friends that they have these women circles that are amazing, and I had the men circles. So we do the work separately, and then once every 2 months or once a month we gather, but only those that have gone to the men and women circles. We gather
Mm-hmm.
in cenotes, or we gather in the beach, and they are divine
Mm-hmm.
because we share each other from the presence, from the fullness, from the wholeness of our beings, not from the lack,
Mm-hmm.
not from the lackness. And I enjoy them so much because it is a reunion of human beings beyond the gender. I mean, it's not there is no more separation.
Mm-hmm.
You are not seeing a gender; you are seeing a human being, and that's the goal. A lot of people they tell me that why do you do men's circles? It's like going to boys' school, you know, or having the people separated. You know, we want unity, and yes, that's what I want. But for that to happen in a very um, in a good way, we need to do the work first in tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some women they ask me, can I go to one of your men's circles? And I just want to see what you do. And sometimes I open them up, um, but there are not any more men's circles. What we do is a sacred masculine circle, and that's
Mm-hmm.
super good, and it has been working so good. And I do it because of that, because a lot of women they want to know what do we do, and we kind of follow the same practice of the men's circles, but having women with us, and it's a beautiful work where we work the masculine, we work the sacred masculine, and that it's in everyone. Also, for example, in the retreats that I do that are like 2 3 days long, uh, there is always one grandmother. I try to invite uh, elder grandmothers from tribes, you know, medicine women that are in the opening and the closing of the retreat to hold the space, because it is a work that we do in community, in family.
Mm-hmm.
And there is also a younger woman that is gonna be the keeper, the receiver of the seats of men when we finish the retreat. So in a I always, one of the workshops or the dynamics of the retreat, it is also given by one of the women or by the grandmother to men. So I always invite feminine energy, expressing my sisters to come to us to do the work, because we are united in this work. We are
Mm-hmm.
together. And it's very beautiful in the closing ceremony when all my brothers, they write down their commitments to work on, and those are the seeds, and they give it to the sister that is going to be the keeper of the seeds, and
Mm-hmm.
she has the responsibility to take care with her water of
Mm-hmm.
those commitments, to pray for those commitments, and also to men can go with her in order to work with those commitments. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, but what I was saying before, if a woman wants to come to the men's circles, will be the same as if a man wants to go to a women's circle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that, no, you have to respect those spaces. My sisters, they love to gather and go to the cenotes, and they are naked there in the cenotes, do their feminine work, and you know that intimacy of their sisterhood, and just one man can change the whole energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, even if he's just an observer, what is he doing there?
Yeah.
Let them do their work. Let them have that beautiful sacred moment with themselves, my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing happens. It's incredible. One woman in a group of 30 men, she changes the whole energy,
Mm-hmm.
because there is something that we have here in our patterns, all like animalistic patterns, that we see the opposite sex, and we start in another. We enter in another setting. You know, even if we are men that we have been working on ourselves for a long time, we we feel observed. We feel the competition patterns start occurring, uh, having the attention of the only woman that is in the circle. You know, these kind of things happen. So it is important to respect the spaces. It is very important, so that we can get together in just a human family. That's what we are meant to be.
And what do you see changing in the world when women and men come together in this kind of way? Like what or in relationships? Like what's happening? What is the change that is taking place? What's the transformation that is possible?
I can observe how, when both energies are aligned, there is so much room for creativity, because in the end it is a sexual energy that is healed. And what do? We create life. We bring life together. And when with these two energies are aligned, there we can create so many things. So many things. That's one of the main things that I can see when we gather after doing the work. Creation, creation of projects, creation of uh, a new earth, a new way of living, a new way of relating. Eco villages. I work a lot with eco villages. I work a lot with, we have a bioconstruction school, sustainability, permaculture, and we are there together because women, they are not dependent of men, and men are not dependent of women. We are in the same position, respecting and honoring our differences, but bringing them up for the community. You know? So it's amazing to have this family, this tribe, where really, and I have to admit it, women have the power, and I love that.
So would you
I
just
love that.
say something about that? Because I think like how say something about that.
Wow. And this, I am telling you this not from philosophy. This is what is really happening in my tribe. The ones that really hold the power, and not we take the decisions all in community, but the hearts of our communities are the women of my tribe, and we as men, uh, we support them in every decision they take.
Mm.
We are just there giving them what we have, strength. This is a very masculine energy. So you can use strength to dominate and to impose whatever you want, or you can use your strength to lift someone up. And that's what we are doing. And really, if you go deeper, the ones that have the power of creation, the ones that bring life into this world, the ones that sustain life are the mothers. And the fathers, we give the seed, our sacred seed. And here I have a lot to speak about the sacrality of our semen, of our seed, um, and how important it is really to work on it. If we really want to do a masculine work, we need to be very conscious of our seed, brothers that listen. Be very conscious. So women are the ones that sustain life. So I feel that a man that wants to live his masculinity in new ways, he has to acknowledge that the ones that hold the power are women, and we have the honor, the sacred honor, to support them, to give them all our love and all our strength in order for that power to really flourish and be expressed in this world. Uh, the solar energy, we relate it more to the masculine energy, but it is etheric, it is consciousness.
Mhm.
You cannot grasp light. The matter, the mother, is the manifestation. In order for that manifestation to happen, it needs the light of the sun. There are some streams of feminism that they reject completely masculinity because they are acting from the wound, you know. But you cannot have a really flourishing earth without the sun. So we are complementary, and we are in this work together. But the ones that create, the ones that are the manifestors, the ones that are the matter, are the mothers, are women. So we have to understand that in order to really be fully present in this new earth.
It's interesting. I'm following the I Ching, which has to do with the gene keys, and right now we're on the cusp from the 45 and the 12th, and it's all about the lower frequencies about dominance and about vanity. So you could see kind of that could be the place that men could come from, and the higher frequencies are all about synergy, communion, discrimination, and purity. And it's like we are today we're on the cusp of those two energies. So I feel like it's so much like where we are right now and how to use that strength, not to dominate, but to really to come into our own purity and to create communion and synergy instead of dominance and inequality. So it's, I mean, I always see in the stars everything that's happening in down here, you know.
Everything is aligned. Everything. When you are open to life, you realize how life speaks to you in every way. From all whatever you see, life is gonna be calling to you. And for me to really be um, in accordance with my cycles, I need to be very present with the cycles of nature. And that is something that we can speak about regarding sacred masculinity and sacred femininity. What the cycles are about, because for women it's easier, so to speak, to understand the cycles because of the menstruation, because of every moon they have these um, hormones coming and exploding, and all the blood releasing. But men, and this is something that I get from a lot of women, we are very disconnected from our cycles, and especially from the cycles of nature,
Mm.
from the cycles of our emotions. Because if you think about it, if a man has a healthy life, he is not faced with pain. And there can be men that do not experience pain for long periods of their lives. And that's why it is so funny that there is this very tough man, but you want to inject him with a needle, and he's like, oh, no, 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 because most men, they have very low, um, how do you say, resistant. They have a lot of resistance to pain.
Yeah.
They do not hold so much pain. And women, they are used to pain. They have become stronger because they have to deal with it every month. Um, so that is one of the things that really I have worked with my brothers to be connected with our own cycles, and we are still in the search of those cycles. Uh, because there are many different opinions. Some say that the men's cycles are more solar or are periods of 3 months.
Mm.
Some others say that there are periods that are more according with the seasons, like spring, winter, summer, and yeah, all of those things are true. Um, for me, men's cycles are longer in time. I mean, it's not every moon. Uh, and there are moments of I would say there are moments of expansion, and there are moments of introspection,
Mhm.
and we have to respect those moments, because I have seen so many brothers that they are always in the expansion mood, always working and super committed to their jobs, and always successful, and always like doing, that they forget about connecting with their emotions and going inside, and they have a lot of fear of going inside.
Mhm.
And we have to, if we want to live uh, a whole life, a life in peace, we need to be very put a lot of attention to all those cycles, to all those emotions. Whenever they want to arise, give them space to arise. In one circle that I participated last Tuesday in Portugal online, we spoke about anger,
Mhm.
and there were a lot of men that they said, "I really do not know what to do with my anger." I Some say, "Well, what I do is that I go out and run and do exercise, And some others say, well, I meditate and do breathing work. And but you know that that energy that a lot of men they carry of being always angry.
Mhm.
Hey, smile, listen to your emotions. Anger is just a mascara, how you say,
A mask.
yeah, a mask of sadness, of some hurt. And in order for you to protect yourself, you become, you know, cold and distant and angry for no reason. And if you go to Paris, you there are some places, especially Anglo-Saxon communities, that the men are always like, you know, and they may have a very tender heart, but they have fear that people confuse that with weakness,
Mhm.
that tenderness, and that is a very beautiful masculine energy, tenderness, ternura in Spanish, with vulnerability and with fragility. No, 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 no. So they put that mask of be away from me. No? And we have to connect with our emotions because for me, a strong man is the man that has the ability to be vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, I see that even not only in the mainstream world, but I see that a lot in the spiritual world, actually, that spirituality becomes kind of a mask, and then emotions are not allowed, especially not the bad emotions. And we do put emotions in good and bad emotions. Again, the polarities that are in duality and separation. So I feel it's almost worse in a way in the spiritual circles because at least when there's unconsciousness, like I can look at it and I understand. If you're blind, you cannot see. But when you pretend to be aware, but there is this complete, like the astral body or the emotional body is not part of it, then it's like there's one part of you that's not there. And for me, that's something that I like. I see it that very, very strongly in the spiritual communities.
And in the end, that's just a spiritual bypass because for me, that's not spirituality. For me, spirituality is authenticity.
Hmm.
And that happens a lot, for example, in Tulum, you know? A lot of New Yorkers go there, or a lot of borners go there, or people from Ibiza, and they are in the beach, you know, with the feathers, and they think that spirituality is wearing a beautiful stone here and wearing organic clothes and doing yoga in the mornings and always being at peace. And that's not spirituality. Maybe that can be an expression of someone that has integrated all those things, and that's
Hmm.
beautiful. But you can recognize when a goddess walks in the beach. You can recognize it because there is a beam of humility, and that realness.
Exactly. There's a rawness, but a rawness that is human and a rawness that is real, and then it's not scary because like we that's the authenticity, but the true authenticity that we're speaking about, and that as soon as you repress what something is bad, like the animal part of us is not bad, we need it because it's part of, without it we can't even feel the cycles. So that's so core of everything you're speaking about.
Yeah, because people that confound spirituality with all those external aspects, they feel judged if they show sadness, or
Mhm.
if they think that feeling anger kind of rest points in their spirituality status, you know, and that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with it. Um, it is so beautiful to be surrounded by people. For example, in Atitlan, there is one little town in Guatemala that is taken over by people from all around the world, amazing guys and girls that are super spiritual. But you can see there all the faces of this world, of this holistic world.
Mhm.
And really, what I what I have seen are these polarities of thinking that spirituality is this guy that has to be always zen and and always smiling. No, spirituality has a lot of fuck off in it, of things that you really do not want in your life, and then you are true to yourself, and that you are authentic, and that you say no, please.
Yeah. And that's back to
And
the coherence you're speaking about and the integrity of what's real and what's not real. And the integration of polarities. Yeah. Well, we have been on for an hour, so I guess I mean there are some of the things that you were speaking about that I would like to kind of speak another time about the semen, for example, and also the emotions and the cycles, like understanding more the men's cycles and those different perspective of how to live them, how to understand them, how to feel them, how to connect with them. But I mean, if if you have anything, any last words, otherwise I thank you so much for this conversation. And it's so much the conversation, like there is not a list for this, there's not like, it's not a PowerPoint presentation, it's like life, and it's coming back to who we really are. So I feel this conversation is very much just an example of that.
I love it. I love it because it goes very much with the way I am. I want to speak with my heart,
Mm.
you know. And before when you invited me, I said, okay, I'm gonna prepare it. I'm gonna the presentation and write down everything. And my heart told me, hey, you're gonna speak what your life is. You're gonna speak what your experience is. So I love, and also the way you do it. I want to honor you and to thank you. I have told you before, you are that beautiful bridge in between worlds. And thank you for your work. Today I'm gonna lit a fire, and I'm gonna have all the Tantra community present, and especially your heart, so that the Great Spirit gives you the strength you need and the clarity and focus in order to walk your path with love, with abundance, with joy. And thank you, community, for listening. I hope this talks to your heart. And let's keep growing and building up this beautiful family. We are family, all of us.
Mhm.
All of us, we are family. We are in this beautiful ascension, in this evolution together. And evolution for me is not about having superpowers or telepathy, or no. It's about compassion.
Yeah.
It's about empathy. So thank you, family.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye.